From 2014 to 2017, Sabrina Carpenter was Maya Hart on Disney Channel's Girl Meets World. She was wholesome, relatable, the perfect role model for young girls. She sang about dreams and friendship, wore age-appropriate clothes, smiled in every interview. Then the show ended, and something changed. Not gradually, abruptly. Within a year, Sabrina was performing songs with explicitly sexual lyrics, wearing lingerie on stage, making jokes that would make her Disney character blush. The former Disney Channel producer who worked with Sabrina during her Girl Meets World days watched this transformation with a sinking feeling, because she'd seen it before, with Miley, with Demi, with Selena, with Ariana. Every Disney girl follows the same pattern: innocent to provocative, wholesome to controversial. And it's not organic evolution. It's systematic, calculated, and according to the producer, it's required. This is the story of the Disney curse, and why Sabrina Carpenter never had a choice. The producer started at Disney Channel in 2009. She'd worked on several shows, watched dozens of young performers come through the system, and she noticed something early on. The kids who succeeded, who got the big contracts, who became household names, all shared certain qualities. They were talented, yes, but more importantly, they were moldable, compliant, willing to become whatever Disney wanted them to be. And Disney wanted them innocent, pure, marketable to families. Sabrina fit the profile perfectly. When Sabrina was cast as Maya Hart, she was 14 years old, young, eager, grateful for the opportunity. The producer remembers the first table read. Sabrina was professional, polite, and notably different from her character. Maya was edgy, a troublemaker, a girl with a rough home life. But Sabrina was soft-spoken, sweet, and the producer wondered how this gentle girl would embody that rebellious character. But Sabrina did it, flawlessly, and the producer realized Sabrina was an actress, really an actress. She could separate herself from the role, could perform emotions that weren't hers. And that's when the producer started worrying, because that skill, that ability to split, made Sabrina perfect for what was coming. During Girl Meets World, Sabrina was controlled, managed. Every aspect of her public image was curated by Disney. Her social media was monitored. Her interviews were scripted. Her music, released under Disney's Hollywood Records, was carefully crafted to align with her wholesome image. Songs about young love, about dreams, about staying true to yourself. The producer watched Sabrina record these songs, and she could see the disconnect. Sabrina would perform them perfectly, but there was no passion, no connection. She was fulfilling a contract, playing a role, and the producer wondered what Sabrina actually wanted to sing, what she actually wanted to say. But those questions weren't allowed. Disney owned her voice, and Disney wanted it clean. The show ended in 2017. Sabrina was 20, and for the first time in years, she had a choice. She could renew with Disney, stay in that world, keep making family-friendly content, or she could leave, break free, become something else. The producer wasn't surprised when Sabrina left, because every Disney girl eventually does. They have to, because the contract isn't just professional, it's psychological. Disney trains these girls to be one thing, then releases them. And the only way to prove you're not that thing anymore is to become the opposite. Aggressively, publicly, undeniably. The producer researched the pattern, and it's undeniable. Miley Cyrus went from Hannah Montana to Wrecking Ball and twerking at the VMAs. Selena Gomez went from Wizards of Waverly Place to Good For You and provocative imagery. Demi Lovato went from camp rock to explicitly sexual performances and public struggles. Ariana Grande went from Cat Valentine to 34 plus 35 and overt sexuality. And now Sabrina, from Maya Hart to Nonsense Outruz, where she makes up explicit rhymes every night. The transformation is always the same, and it's always extreme, because subtle doesn't break the spell. You have to obliterate the old image, prove you're no longer Disney's property, and the only way to do that is sex, controversy, explicit rejection of innocence. But the producers started questioning why the transformation was always sexual. Why not just different? Why not artistic evolution that didn't involve taking off clothes and singing about sex? And she realized, because Disney owns innocence. They monopolize it, market it, profit from it. So to break free from Disney, you have to destroy innocence, your innocence, and you have to do it publicly, spectacularly, so everyone knows you're no longer that girl. You're someone else, someone Disney doesn't own, someone who chose darkness over light, even if that choice was forced. The producer also noticed the timing. Most Disney girls start their transformation within a year of leaving the company. Like there's a clock, a countdown. And if you don't change fast enough, if you try to stay wholesome, you disappear. Your career stalls. The industry forgets you, because the industry doesn't want wholesome adults. That's Disney's territory. The industry wants sex, controversy, scandal. So if you want to continue working, you have to give them what they want. And what they want is the opposite of what Disney made you. Sabrina's transformation was textbook. In 2019, 2 years after Girl Meets World ended, she released Sue Me, a song about not caring what people think, about being unapologetically herself. The music video showed a more mature Sabrina, more styled, more confident, but still relatively tame. The producer saw this as the first step, testing the waters, seeing how far she could push, but it wasn't far enough. The song underperformed, didn't make cultural impact, and the producer knew Sabrina would have to go further. Then came Skin in 2021, a response to Olivia Rodrigo's driver's license. The song itself was fine, but the controversy was the point. Sabrina was now in celebrity drama, public feuds, messiness, the opposite of Disney's controlled perfection, and the producer watched Sabrina lean into it, do interviews about the drama, play coy, stir the pot. This was the second step, creating narrative, becoming tabloid fodder. Because Disney girls are never in tabloids for anything except wholesome achievements. So to break free, you have to become the story, the scandal, the controversy. But the full transformation came in 2024. Espresso and Please 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 made Sabrina a global superstar. And with that success came the final phase, the Nonsense Outruz. Every night, Sabrina performs nonsense and ends with improvised, explicitly sexual rhymes about the city she's in. The audience loves it, screams for it, films it, and Sabrina delivers, night after night, creative, funny, and undeniably explicit. The producer watched clips online, and she felt sad, not because the outruz were inappropriate, but because they felt mandatory. Like Sabrina had to prove, every single night, that she was no longer Maya Hart, no longer Disney's girl, and the only way to prove it was through sexual explicitness. The producer started calling it the curse because it felt like one. Like Disney casts a spell, gives these girls fame, money, love from millions, but in exchange, takes something. Their innocence isn't just an image, it's real. These girls give their teenage years to Disney, miss normal adolescence, Miss Rebellion, Miss Sexual Exploration, Miss Becoming, and then Disney releases them. But they are not whole. They are fractured. They've been performing so long they don't know who they are. So they overcompensate, become the most sexual, most controversial, most explicit version possible, to prove to themselves and everyone else that they are free, even though they are not. Because you can't escape Disney by becoming the opposite. You're still defined by it, still reacting to it, still trapped. The producer also noticed the mental health crisis that follows. Almost every Disney girl has publicly struggled. Demi with addiction and eating disorders, Selena with anxiety and lupus, Miley with identity crisis and substance use, Ariana with PTSD and anxiety. And the producer wondered if it was coincidence, or if the fracturing, the splitting, the years of performing someone you're not, creates psychological damage, creates dissociation, makes it impossible to know who you are. And when you don't know who you are, you grab onto the first identity that feels powerful. And in this industry, sexual power is the most accessible, the most immediate, the most marketable. The producer tried to talk to Sabrina once, reached out through mutual contacts, wanted to check in, see how she was doing, offer support, but Sabrina's team blocked it, said Sabrina wasn't doing interviews about her Disney past, wasn't interested in looking back, only forward. And the producer understood, because looking back meant confronting what was taken, what was lost, the years of being controlled, monitored, shaped, and that's too painful. Easier to pretend it was all choice, all evolution, all empowerment, even when it wasn't. The producer also examined the other path. The Disney stars who didn't go sexual, who tried to maintain wholesomeness, and their careers died, quickly, quietly. The industry had no use for them, because they were competing with Disney. And you can't compete with Disney on wholesomeness. Disney will always win. So your only option is to go dark. Go sexual. Go controversial. Claim a space Disney can't. And hope that's enough to build a career. For some, like Miley and Ariana, it works. They become superstars. But at what cost? And for how long? Because the industry is always looking for the next girl, the next transformation, the next Disney curse victim to watch implode and rebuild. The producer noticed Sabrina's lyrics getting darker too. Feather about getting rid of toxic men. Vicious about complicated relationships. Songs that suggested pain, hurt, betrayal. And the producer wondered if these were about romantic relationships, or about Disney, about the industry, about the machine that made her and then demanded she destroy herself to stay relevant. Because the anger in those songs felt deeper than heartbreak. It felt existential, like rage at a system that steals childhood and sells it back as nostalgia. There's also the matter of the fan base split. Sabrina's Disney Channel fans, the ones who grew up with Girl Meets World, are now in their 20s, and many are uncomfortable with her transformation. They want Maya, want the girl who sang about friendship, and they feel betrayed, abandoned, like Sabrina chose sex over them. But the producer knows Sabrina didn't choose. She was forced by an industry that told her, become sexual or become irrelevant. And Sabrina, like every Disney girl before her, chose survival, chose career, chose the only path available, even though that path required sacrificing the image millions of fans loved. The producer also researched Disney's contracts, and while she couldn't access specifics, industry lawyers told her Disney's deals with young performers are notoriously restrictive. Options for extensions, first look deals, merchandise rights, likeness rights, Disney doesn't just hire child actors. They invest in them, build them, and expect return on that investment for years. But the return isn't just financial, it's cultural. Disney wants to own family entertainment, and they do that by controlling the people who represent it. So when someone leaves, Disney doesn't fight, because the fight is pointless. They already took what they needed: the formative years, the innocence, the brand association. What happens after doesn't matter to Disney, but it matters to the girl, who has to figure out who she is when she's not performing for Disney anymore. The producer saw this with Sabrina in real time. After Girl Meets World, Sabrina floundered, had a few acting roles, but nothing stuck. Her music wasn't breaking through. She was in limbo, too old for Disney, too unknown for mainstream. And the producer watched her try different identities: bohemian, edgy, romantic, trying to find what worked, what resonated, and nothing did, until she went full sexual, until she leaned into explicitness. And suddenly, she had a hit, had attention, had power, and the producer realized the industry rewarded the darkness, punished the in-between, and trained every Disney girl that to succeed, you had to betray your past self, publicly, permanently. The producer is speaking now because she wants people to understand. When you see Sabrina Carpenter making sexual jokes on stage, when you see her wearing revealing outfits, when you see her singing explicitly, you're not seeing empowerment. You're seeing survival. You're seeing a woman who was told her only value was innocence, and then told that innocence was worthless. You're seeing someone navigating an impossible choice: stay wholesome and disappear, or become sexual and stay relevant. There's no third option, no path that allows you to just be, to evolve naturally, to explore identity without exploding it. The producer also wants parents to know, when you let your kids watch Disney Channel, you're not just giving them entertainment. You're showing them a blueprint, a path that says, be innocent now, but know that innocence has an expiration date. And when it expires, you'll have to become the opposite, to prove you're no longer a child, to prove you're a woman. And the only way the industry recognizes womanhood is through sexuality. So you're teaching your daughters that growing up means becoming sexual, publicly, performatively, and there's no alternative, because every Disney girl they admire follows the same path. Without exception, the curse is real, not supernatural, but systematic, a machine that takes talented young girls, molds them into perfect, innocent brands, profits from their childhood, and then releases them with one option: destroy what Disney made you, or disappear. And most choose destruction, because they've spent years being controlled. And sexual explicitness feels like freedom, feels like choice, feels like power, even when it's just another form of control, another expectation, another performance, another way the industry owns them. Sabrina Carpenter is talented, hardworking, deserves her success, but she shouldn't have had to sexualize herself to get it. Shouldn't have had to erase Maya Hart to become Sabrina. Shouldn't have had to choose between wholesome irrelevance and sexual superstardom. That's not choice. That's coercion. And until the industry creates space for Disney girls to exist as complex humans, not just angels or devils, the curse will continue. The pattern will repeat. And we'll keep watching talented young women destroy their past selves for our entertainment, and calling it empowerment, when really, it's just the price of escape.